can't fathom is how one can drink ice-cold beer in freezing weather.
When the British ruled the Punjab, they drank steaming hot pots of tea on the hottest days of the year to balance out their inside and outside temperatures. See, conversely, drinking an ice-cold drink on a cold day actually results in a more comfortable body temperature.
All right. Why do you drink ice-cold beer on a hot day?
What else are you going to do with it?
All right, we're going to talk about beer right now. What else you going to do with it, right? We are here. We're going to examine what is a biennial report by the Beer Institute. It's called Beer Serves America. It's the economic impact of beer, which is what we're all about here at Bloomberg Baystate Business. Economic impact. Danelle Kosmal is the VP of Research for the Beer Institute. And Danelle, first of all, welcome to the program. I mean, you have some big stats here. I'm going to share a couple nationwide, then we can talk about Massachusetts. Total jobs, 2.4 million in the United States. Total economic output, $409.2 billion. Big numbers. Is this an increase from last year? Have we plateaued? What's the vector, as it were?
Yeah, well, first of all, thanks for having me. I mean, talking beer at 5 o'clock on a Friday is one of the best ways for me to start the weekend. So thank you.
Me too.
And and definitely big numbers. And we've seen an increase of over, about 30% compared to when we did this study 2 years ago, reporting out for numbers in 2020. And that's a reflection of a lot of things. It's a reflection of how dynamic the beer industry is. It's a reflection of how resilient the beer industry is. It's a reflection of where we were in 2020 and, a very different place with a lot of bars and restaurants shut down because of the pandemic. And now 2 years later, from what we found in 2022, a really great and healthy bounce back in terms of jobs, brewing jobs, in terms of retail jobs. So all of those bartenders that are making sure that you're getting that kind of beer, that's all contributing to that $409 billion in economic output that you just mentioned.
I'm curious as to what kind of growth you've seen over the past 10 years in the beer industry, because certainly it seems like over the past 10 years, you can't move in a liquor store anymore. There's so many different kinds of beer, people brewing their own, and these small breweries are popping up everywhere. Yet, at the same time, we've been hearing that beer consumption is down. So let's talk about the past 10 years and how we got where we are.
Yeah, something that's interesting about beer is that we actually don't see a lot of fluctuation in beer, especially in per capita consumption. So when we look at per capita consumption of beer over the past 2 decades, it's been really consistent. And so what we do see in terms of fluctuation is maybe the type of beer. So we might have a couple of years where, craft beer or IPAs are really driving a lot more of the growth. And more recently, in the past couple of years, we see something like Mexican imported and Mexican style lagers that are driving a lot of the growth. IPAs still reign as that largest craft beer style, but it's the sub-segments of IPAs that are driving growth. So things like the hazy and the imperial IPAs.
Danelle Kosmal is with the Beer Institute. She's the vice president of research. So, Danelle, how does that square? And this comes off of Joe's point a bit too. We have experts here, as you might imagine, who look into every aspect of every industry. And one of the headlines for us in some of our discussions is that the young folks are gravitating toward spiked seltzer, and we see an awful lot of that. That beer may be, as you say, consistent, but there are other sectors of this market that are outperforming beer. Your thoughts?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we have a lot of the members at the Beer Institute and that are brewers that, their bread and butter, the way that they keep the lights on in their building is by those kind of iconic mainstream beer brands that we've known for decades. And so that won't change. But those same brewers are also the suppliers that are creating, hard seltzers, that are creating hard lemonades, that are creating hard teas, all types of kind of flavored malt beverages. And those play an interesting role. So what we've seen over the past probably 10 years is a lot of those types of products it's somewhat cyclical. So you might see that kind of boom and bust for 2 years, and that helps to create and generate buzz, and it helps to engage some of those, legal drinking age consumers that, are in their 20s that are looking for new fun flavors and just want to try a lot of things. So it helps.
Well, let me ask for a little clarification here. So in other words, if you have a beer maker who also makes seltzer, and maybe even in some cases a lot of the operation is shifted to seltzer, they're still counted in your research as a beer maker.
They still are counted, correct. And really it comes down to most of that, of what they're producing still is beer. Or it's a malt-based product.
A malt-based product. Okay.
What age group are the largest consumers of beer, and how does it break down male-female?
It depends on segment. So the male-female age group is about, really roughly for beer, is about 60% male, 40% female. And then that shifts a lot. So you have some styles. So there are some styles within craft beer that might have a stronger appeal to female beer drinkers. So something like a Goza or a golden ale, which happen to be two of my favorite styles. Those styles might tend to appeal a little bit more to women, whereas a very hoppy IPA might appeal a little bit more to a male drinker.
Danelle Kosmal is with the Beer Institute. Danelle, thanks very much. Now go pour yourself a cold one. It's Friday.